Welcome back to the channel. It's been another month, which means another running session down at my local Model Railway Club and another of my trains out and about in action. In this case, the train consists of a very nice 062 tank locomotive in Southern Region green livery and 3 Suburban coaches in British Rail Southern Region livery. So again, not a particularly accurate combination to any particular time period, but just another one of those things that looks really good when you see it running. Now down at Newbury Model Railway Club we have our running nights, and as usual a lot of Great Western stuff. You can see it in the background there. It's a very Great Western themed session, this particular one. So our train added a little bit of colour, a little bit of contrast maybe. Okay then, so let's have a look at the actual models in a bit more detail. First of all, we have this wonderful little 062 tank locomotive. Made by Bachmann, catalogue number 35076. This was announced in March of 2013, was finally produced in about March of 2015, and that's when I got mine. This locomotive, this class of locomotive is a London Brighton South Coast Railway class E4, which is a sort of mixed goods or mixed traffic type of tank locomotive, of which 75 were built, the first appearing in 1897. This loco itself, number 473, numerically I think the 10th or 11th of the class. It appeared in 1898, and it's actually the only one to be preserved. And it's the livery it's shown in here is the Southern Region green livery. It's actually numbered B473, the B representing Brighton. This was a fairly short-lived livery, carried shortly after the grouping, and later on they replaced it by, instead of having the B prefix, they just added 2000 to numbers. This loco became 2473. As I mentioned, this is the only one preserved. It lasted in BR service until 1962, then went to the Bluebell Railway, where it's been pretty much ever since, I think with a short visit to Severn Valley Railway. And again, this livery, as shown here, I think it wore somewhere around 2010. I think that they overhauled it in about 2008, 2010. And when it re-emerged, it was in this green livery or something very close to it. And it lasted in traffic till about 2016, when it was put out of use and needs more boiler work. And I think it's still on static display to this day. Okay then, so let's look at the 3 coaches that make up the train. These are all models made by Triang in the period 1957 to 1962, and these are their representation of BR Mk1-derived suburban coaching stock in the Southern Region green livery. And this is a particular favourite of mine, these items. And of a type that I could ramble on about for hours. I won't for this video, but I might do a more in-depth one a bit later on. Starting with the brake coach here. This is probably about, if I can get this thing into focus, there we go. This is about as early a version of this type of stock as you will find. You notice immediately it has the what we call the Type 2B couplings, which immediately date it to the late 50s. It has the large printed number there. It has a plain non-ribbed roof, and it has, if I can cover it again, if I can get back the focus, come on, get it back in focus. There we go. And if you look inside, you'll see there's no seating in there. And finally, it has the open-ended axle boxes on the bogies. All of these tell us, well, all of these, and consultation with Pat Hammond's excellent book on the subject, tell us that this is a example from, roughly speaking, 1957 or 1958. So this is more or less how they were immediately after they were introduced. Just to point out, it has those little sort of lookout windows at the end there. It really is, I think, if not the most accurate model in the world, it really is a very nice one indeed. It's one of my favourites, as I've just said. Let's look at the middle one. This is the middle coach in the rake, and very much the middle period of production, if you like. So we still have the nice flat unribbed roof. We still have nothing inside, no interior. We still have the open axle boxes. What we do have now is the Mark III couplings on the end there, and a number which, if I hold it up for comparison, if I'm going to do this properly, there we go, is somewhat smaller. Okay, slightly smaller number there. Obviously it's a different number because it's a different coach, and this is the first third composite rather than the brake coach, but it shows all the basic trends that the contemporary brake coach would also have shown. These two are in what I term the blue-green plastic, which is which was the type of plastic they used for the majority of production. However, if we look at the third one, and I hold this up and if I can get this in the light, you should just be able to see that there's somewhat of a difference in tone or in shade there. This is a bit yellower, this one's a bit bluer, and that again is consistent with what Pat Hammond's book tells us about these coaches. This is very much just at the end of production there. So let's have a look at that one. This one here is so a somewhat later thing. So we've now got a ribbed roof. You can see that, a ribbing on there. I think that's rather nicely done actually. Some people don't like to have their Mark 1s with ribs on because they say that they really shouldn't be noticeable at this scale, as it were. But I think they do a rather good job there. The number, again, if I hold up the other one for comparison and get them in back position, you notice it's somewhat smaller and somewhat brighter. Inside, if I can again get the focus back, you can just about see it there. You see in the windows there, we've got some interior representation of seating. Again, that tells me this is a late one. And practically the only thing this is missing, really, is it still has the open axle boxes. The very, very last ones, these were closed off because they had they replaced the bogie with in essence the same bogie, but it had the closed axle boxes. What else is there to say? Not very much. All three of these came from eBay over the years. That one, the brake, came in around about 2004. The middle coach came in 2001. I bought that actually from a chap called John Chambers, who used to have a brilliant YouTube channel called John's Amazing Trains. I think most of the videos are still up there, so if you're feeling bored after this video probably will bore you, go and have a look at his stuff. He had a brilliant layout and he used to have loads of Triangle and Hornby stuff running around it, and it really was an excellent channel. Unfortunately, John's now retired. I think he's moved house and he's sold off a vast amount of his stuff, and I managed to grab that one from his collection. This one also came from eBay, came in about 2020, so right in the middle of lockdown. And I think basically, lockdown promoted a lot more bidding wars on eBay, because I got locked into a bidding war for this one. As you can see, I eventually won it, but suffice to say, I think I probably paid about 3 or 4 times more than I actually really needed to. But I wanted to have a late one in the rake, as it were, and this one, apart from those axle boxes, is about as late as you can get. So that's really nice, and it's also in really nice nick as well. It's really nice condition. These all three are actually really nice nick, although the brake coach could certainly do with a clean. And here we are, back at the layout. Back at the running night, I mean. Nice vintage Great Western train in the background there. Something a bit eastern region just behind that. And there's our little southern set toddling through. These next couple of clips, you can really see the difference in tone of the green plastic between the first coach and the second two. There's Flying Scotsman in the background there. Another non-Great Western interloper. And here comes our train. And just look at how yellow that first coach is compared to the other two. Much bluer green. I've just noticed in some of these videos that the trailing wheel of the tank has got a bit of a tendency to pop off the track. It doesn't really impede progress, but it looks a bit unsightly, so I might have to have a little look at the loco, see if there's anything I can do to free it up, make it stay on the track a little bit more. Speaking of track, actually, this is quite a modern track. I think it's code 83 or whatever it is, and I think some of these Triangle coaches, they sort of run on the sleepers rather than the rails with their clunky great 1950s wheels. But it doesn't matter, they still get around. Oh, the Scotsman again, charging up the east coast or something. And here comes our more sedate train, clanking away in a nice bit of southern region green. Here we are coming through the kind of siding area. All sorts of wonderful toys there to play with. Off we go, round the corner and away. This final shot, or nearly final shot, was me trying a bit of slow running, and I think the loco was quite capable of it, but I think the track was a little bit dirty, had been cleaned in a while, and so it got a little bit of juddery there. There's lookout windows at the back of the brake coach, really look good in my opinion. Oh, and something else from Bachmann, another little treasure, which I might make a video about sometime in the future. Okay, that's all from me. Thanks for watching. Take care.